I'm going to use for our intro.
No, we should stop now. The real intro starts now.
There's our beginning.
Perfect. We just said about a bunch of things that we can't say on a podcast. I mean, we can say whatever we want on a podcast, but we shouldn't.
Typically, we could say whatever we want. But I know that there are people who listen because we are appropriate for just about anybody.
They
Yeah,
just about. They just said, like, hey, we can have a booth at the kids' fair. I'm like, that's not a good idea.
I think we should, though. We could have a little video game tournament.
They have 3 empty booths.
Oh, don't make me go. That's Kevin's birthday, and I'm going to a party that's that night that already has my anxiety.
So we all have to go to Kevin's birthday party?
Ooh.
It's not his birthday party.
Whatever.
And not go to...
We still have to go to the kids' fair. Yeah.
If you go to my party that I have to go to, you have to wear a wrestling singlet. You have to wear it.
I love wrestling.
But you have to wear a singlet in public.
I think I would look far too much like Andre the Giant, except I wouldn't be giant. I'd just be fat.
We could all come up with cool gimmicks, though,
I could get like a cool, like, black curly wig.
Oh, we could show up and like have some...
Yeah,
we should be men, so I hate like, SmackDown.
Nobody in this world wants to see me in a wrestling singlet.
You say that.
Yeah, it's true. There's somebody for everyone.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure if I went to this party...
Everyone wants to see
person there.
Everyone wants to see Dylan in a wrestling singlet. 4 people.
Not these people.
5 people?
I promise you, not these
6
people.
I don't know
maybe?
these people.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Cliff and I would get all the action.
Oh. Right.
Seriously.
I'm
not
too
even
young.
lying. Anyway.
Well, there's a, he's too young.
You just called us old.
Well, what's the difference between the 3 of us?
I'm
going to say about 150 pounds.
We all have a little bit of facial hair.
The difference is roughly 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Roughly.
God,
they like the pounds.
They
then.
do.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, so anyway, enough about what I'm doing in 2 weeks.
What is now?
What is now? Now is the
Episode-
Bite Me podcast.
Episode 25.
Episode 25.
That feels very
That's how old I am.
important.
Our insurance goes down this
God.
episode.
And we can rent a car.
Yeah.
Same.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, that's my life right now.
Oh, yeah. Because you're finally 25.
God, that makes me feel so old.
That's okay. It's okay.
It's going to be a great year.
We are old enough to theoretically be his father.
The year.
Ooh.
Yes.
I mean, I would have been real young, but, oh, man, I have a friend who literally is my age and has a kid his age.
Wow. So
Probably a little bit older, actually. Her kid's 27, I think. Whew, yuck. Anyway.
My name is Adam West.
I am Cliff.
And I am Dylan.
So
We're
authoritative.
awesome. Anyway, we played some stuff. Did you play some stuff?
I did.
I didn't play almost anything.
Well, before we talk about what we're playing, this episode we have lots to discuss.
China just forced all games that have loot boxes to disclose the probability of a certain thing being in a loot box.
China?
Yes.
That was a big enough deal that the government had to tell them
to
what
stop
to do?
gambling.
Yeah, it kind of falls under the category of gambling. So if you're purchasing something that is a probability,
Gotcha.
it has you have to be informed.
Anyways, that's what that title means.
I'm like, I don't know what that means, so because I don't play it. Anyway, so the Nintendo eShop is going to be able to store credit card info, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm okay with it, I guess. I do it everywhere else.
Yeah.
Rocket League updates and a couple of questions, including my cousin Vinny and someone from your brother, it looks like.
Yep.
Sweet.
And Overwatch has earned over $1 billion in less than a year.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
So we will discuss all of that. But first, what are we playing?
Yes. Go, Adam.
You want me to? Yeah, because you don't have anything.
Yeah.
So I had mentioned that I had bought a Humble Bundle a while back. Like,
very nice.
Specifically like a year and a half or 2 years ago was the Capcom Humble Bundle.
Oh, sure.
And I never really got into it. I was just like, oh, all this stuff looks good. And I know I've talked about Okami before. Mm-hmm. Totally forgot that I had it in this Humble Bundle, and I've had a code sitting there waiting for me to use for about a year and a half on the PlayStation Store. So awesome. I fired up the PS3, got it all reformatted and ready to go, and I downloaded Okami, and I am playing that.
And what do you think?
And I love it.
What are you in that game?
You're a wolf.
A wolf. That's
really.
I know I was a white dog-like thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's so pretty. And it's cel-shaded.
Cool. I never played it.
Yeah,
it's so nice that those like really kind of hold their.
Mm-hmm.
They're like cheese.
Please explain how
they age well.
Okay. Usually people go with a fine
like
wine.
Cliff or Adam.
Yeah.
Wow, he is really going in this week.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, I've aged quite loverly.
All things considered, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't take care of myself.
Like
I eat like crap.
29.
So.
Really?
Yeah. No. I think the funny thing is, I think I just mostly stopped aging like when I was probably in my I'm going to say my early 30s, because most people when I was in my 20s, they're like, oh, so you're in your mid 30s, right?
Yeah, you guys got baby faces with a distinguished gray addition to your beard.
My
it's
poor,
real nice.
sad goatee.
I can't wait to be distinguished by small gray hairs on my face and head.
Oh, I love it. What else have you been playing?
Well, so Okami, like I said, I'm playing Okami, and if you've not played it, it's very Zelda-like.
Oh, nice.
So it's fun. It's really, really good.
I think
like
I
the
bought
Zelda
that same
where
bundle,
you're the dog.
honestly.
Yes, it's like Zelda if you were a dog. But it's like...
like the Twilight Princess where you are
Oh,
the
yeah,
wolf,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like that?
I would say it's kind of ish, maybe. No, not
That's
much.
a no. It's just like Zelda, but if you were a dog.
Basically.
Okay.
So it's good, though. I'm still playing Persona 4 on the Vita, doing that, and I'm really, really enjoying that. I haven't really, gotten a whole lot more into it, but I've gone back in, and it's one of those games where it's like, the RPGs in the past I would play for a while, and then I'd oh, shiny, go over here, play something else.
Sure.
Come back a week later, and I'm like, I have no
What's
idea.
I've been doing?
Yeah.
Oh, no idea. It was really easy for me to not play for a week and then pick right back up, and I know exactly what's going on and where I'm at. I even remember the characters' names.
Nice.
So-
I can play games for hours and not know the characters' names.
Yeah.
If it's not Zelda or Mario, odds are pretty good I don't know my character's name.
So I found this was an interesting feature included in, I don't remember which Pokemon game it was, but it was fairly recently in the last few generations. But because it is like an RPG game that you might pick up later, it kind of revisits what you recently did in a little text that says you were recently on Route 66 and you beat this person, did this, and it recaps you what you had just done the last time you played.
Oh, see, that's really
And it
smart.
Yeah.
Not that it catches you up super well, but it kind of, you were just here, and it just kind of helps you.
Every
Right,
once in a
it'll
while, I
jog
think it'd be
enough in
so
your
nice to
memory.
be able to say can I just replay the last 10 minutes of this game? What happened?
Yeah.
Or the way television episodes, they recap you the last couple episodes in a little montage.
Previously on This Is
and
Us.
it kind of just jogs your memory.
Yeah.
I love that because you don't, if you spend a week
Yeah.
since the last time
if
you
you're
played,
a week on a cruise ship and you're like, I don't know what I did.
you might not have no idea what was going on. So.
Yeah, I have that problem all the time. So out of curiosity, Adam, do you like Okami enough to buy a 26.5-inch tall statue of the
Yes.
dog? Really?
Yes.
Will it be in your window by Yoshi?
Oh, $7. No, not for $7. You should have qualified that with the price point before.
You said you were going to buy it.
Yeah, he was
counting on you
willing
now.
to buy a 2.5-foot statue.
Look, there's
Yes.
plenty of space right next to Yoshi and
It's
that
real
yellow
pretty.
raincoat guy.
The 725 exclusive edition has light-up LEDs that illuminate the flames that surround this dog creature. It looks pretty cool.
I'm sure it looks amazing, but I'm not
It
spending
does not come out
$700.
until next year, though. So you
I
have
don't
time to
want it.
save and time to think.
Yeah.
Wait, it's coming out next year?
2018, yeah.
So that just makes me think that there may be some kind of HD re-release of Okami
Could
coming
be
next
happening,
year.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
You're going to buy it.
Well, I'm going to totally
it's
buy
shiny
it.
enough.
Also, speaking of not playing for a while and picking back up, I took about a week and a half, actually almost 2 weeks off of Zelda
Nice.
between my trip and then last week coming back.
It
I didn't touch
pulled
it.
you back in, though?
It pulled me back into the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish this game now. So I sat down last night and found 7 or 8 more shrines and beat my third divine beast all in one
Nice.
sitting. I wasn't effing around.
How many little seed things do you have?
Korok seeds?
70 some, 80 some, something
bad.
like that, I think. Maybe it's closer to 100. But I've got those.
You've got enough.
I've got
Because those expand your inventory size,
yes.
right? Nice.
Yeah. So I've got some of those.
I have one.
I still
Well,
have
you
0, and I'm
more.
going to keep it that way.
No, you
No,
don't. You can't.
I can, though.
The problem is you can't because you'll pick up a rock to throw it at someone and they'll be little seed
won't.
thing dances
You
out.
can't keep
That's
it.
how I found one.
Then you are not picking up any rocks ever.
No, I won't.
Okay.
I won't do it.
What if you find one at a tree?
I won't do it.
He's just going to stand in one place and
There are puzzles that you have to do to get a shrine or to blah blah blah, and some of those inadvertently throw a Korok at you.
Well, you're screwed.
Sorry about
man.
it.
Sorry,
I'll
man.
go dodge it.
You'll
Okay.
dodge it.
No, I don't want your
Dylan rolls
seed.
out of the way.
They're so cute though, and little noise they make, and little they're adorable.
They're shockingly. I almost found them to be almost break me out of the game. I'm like, what is this weird little animated leaf thing?
Oh, wait till you go through the animation of when you expand your inventory.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Can I cook them?
No, No. You can cook fairies, though.
A nice what?
Yeah. You can cook fairies. Found that out.
A nice
they don't actually get cooked up. They fly away. But you can...
Hey, over here!
Yeah. They become a part of whatever it is
I
you
can
cook.
see how you could make a nice little salad out of some little leaf seed things.
A little crunch on top.
It's all good.
So I'm playing that and the game I talked about last week that I just got.
I'm so excited about
and
this.
then I finally played it and beat it in one sitting, was Little Nightmares.
And it's an hour and a half long? 3 hours long?
I'm going to say an hour and a half to 2 hours.
It's not bad.
It's
good
not.
Length.
It's an experience is what it is. So after playing it, I don't know. I've got some, I don't want to say issues with the game. It's just really, really hard to not compare it to Inside.
Yeah.
Because it's so similar.
That makes me kind of excited, though. Because I really want more Inside, but I don't necessarily want to play Inside again.
Right. And if you thought Inside was definitely a strange kind of thing. Yeah. This is even more strange because while it doesn't explain anything, you see more of what's actually going on.
Nice.
And you have more of a sense of what's actually going on this thing called the Maw, which is I thought it was a ship. It's actually an island.
Oh, sure. Do you play as that little creature in the raincoat that you got?
She's a 9-year-old girl. Her name is Six.
Oh man, do I have to kill her a bunch of times?
Oh, she's going to die a lot.
Oh, man.
She's going to die a lot.
And so many little kids.
Some of them in video games.
Oh, yes.
It is weird that there's this like genre that sprouted up where it's like you put little children in
terrible danger.
Right?
I don't even, awful situations, and they die a lot.
It's so sad.
By Rottweilers and air blasts.
Right. Now, see, and that's so the difference, one of the main differences, I think, between Little Nightmares and Inside is in Inside, there are some scares that, even though you see them coming, they still you jump out of your skin.
Yeah.
Little Nightmares, it's more of a creep factor. There's no actual, like, straight up jump scares.
Sure.
I mean, I'm a giant wuss, and there were a couple of times where I screamed, and the dog thought I was crazy.
Game.
Yeah, yes and no. Yeah,
it's creepy.
It's
like
creepy.
The environments.
Yeah, the aesthetic is super creepy. The other big difference is where Inside plays in a 3D looking ish world, but on a very 2D plane, up, down, right, and left. There's no back to front. Little Nightmares is in a 3-dimensional space, but just going back and forth.
Oh,
so you can walk back and forth within the screen in that space, but not
kind of almost like a Paper Mario kind of.
Yeah. And I don't like that.
Oh, sure.
I don't like it because there's sections where you have to get across certain things.
Oh, that is always gross.
And when the camera pulls far, like 100 feet away from where your character's standing, and you have to be balancing on a piece of metal or something,
it's really
difficult.
To the TV, Adam.
Well, I wish that were the case. I wish it were that easy. So yeah, I died a lot in a lot of places where there was nothing that could have killed me at all. So that was a little frustrating, but overall it was good. And the last like 4 minutes of gameplay are just badass.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's real cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited to try this out.
Evidently they're coming out with like a prequel kind of comic.
Oh, nice.
So very kind of flesh out the story of what's going on, who this girl is, how she got there, why these things are on this boat. So who the main baddie is, why.
You don't play as her older brother 5?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm very excited to try it. It sounds fun.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
I'm trying to do the math. Yeah, no spoilers. There's nothing really to spoil. It's such a random thing.
That's cool.
But it's good. Yeah, play it if you haven't.
So, speaking of Inside, Buddy Mike started playing it, and I think I think one of the things that make me happiest is that the number of people that have told me they've played Inside because we've talked about it on this podcast. Like, I think we've sold like 8-10 copies of this game. I think that's great.
Oh, we deserve a cut.
I know, right? We deserve like $2. He said,
we just want Outside for free when it comes out.
He said, Inside Report 1, I got the submarines last night before I went to bed. Inside Report 2, I hate dogs. Inside Report 3, pulled a worm out of a pig's butt. Was awesome.
I'm trying to remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember all of those things.
Whatever.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. Either way.
Maybe I do remember it, and my mind's just saying, you don't want to remember that. You don't want to.
Yeah, so my buddy Hans just, I assume he's done with it by now, but maybe not. So
nice.
It's a good game. Anywho, so that's all you've done. What do you want to talk, Dylan, or you want me to go next?
You can go next.
Yeah,
I didn't do much. I've been super busy for the last. Yeah, I know, right? My brother was in town for a week, and he has a little kid, and so like 9-month-old kid. So the time when I play video games are like super early and super late, and I didn't want to be waking up a kid, and so I didn't play a lot of that. But we played some stuff. I got him a Raspberry Pi and put RetroPie on it for his birthday, and so we played a bunch of old Mario games and old Atari games and SNES games, and it was really fun. And it really, like, the nostalgia for those it's such a cool thing. But what you forget is just how punishingly hard some of those things are. But even one thing that I thought was interesting, you guys played the game Altered Beast, probably.
Oh yeah.
So
did you ever play it? Oh no, it's fun.
Yeah, it is. But like,
I remember it being fun.
It's probably really not, but we played it mostly in the arcade is what I remember playing it as. And so the concept is you're this guy, and then you get like this power up, and then you become a slightly buffer guy. So like you eat this thing, and then like your just chest rips through your shirt, and
like
then,
a werewolfy looking thing.
Yeah. Well, and then you get another power up, and you turn into a werewolf.
Oh, okay.
And you're just fighting like kind of zombies and stuff. But I don't remember which systems we played it on, but I think we almost started playing that on like the NES. And it's like this weirdly stripped down version of that.
Yeah, it was an arcade game, and it was the pack-in game for the Sega Genesis.
Yeah. And then we played it on, like, it seems like we played it on an older one, and then we played it on a middle kind of range system, and then we played it on a MAME, like, arcade emulator. And it was so weird seeing, like, the differences between those. But anyways, that was a ton of fun. My brother also required me to say that we played Custer's Revenge. Are you guys familiar?
I've heard of that.
It's like the most horribly racist, grossly offensive game that ever came out on the Atari 2600. It is grossly offensive.
Oh my!
It's just shocking to me that ever existed. But we did that. I also played E.T., the game that almost bankrupt Atari, which like you play it, you're like, oh, this makes sense now. It's horrible.
There's nothing.
Absolutely horrible. But anyways, that was real fun. If that's something that interests you, like setting up a Raspberry Pi is so easy these days.
I could do it.
Oh yeah, you made 2 of them last week, didn't you?
I
just one?
Made one last week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make another one.
Yeah, I mean, you literally just download an image, push it onto a flash card, and you're done. When I did it about a year ago, it was hard. Like getting controllers configured was hard, getting sound configured was hard, and now it just works.
It was pretty easy.
Yeah. So definitely something to do. It'll emulate pretty much everything pre Nintendo 64. It's supposed to do Nintendo 64, and apparently it does with, some work. But, and I mean, the other thing to consider too is it's probably not legal. But,
right, yeah. Do this at your own risk. We're not showing you or telling you how to do any of this.
Exactly. But it's cool.
Isn't it like if you actually own the games, it's legal?
Technically.
So just only get the games that you own.
I would like to go out on record saying I do not own Custer's Revenge. That one was illegal. It's okay.
That I can't believe is actually
a game. It should have been illegal. But besides that, I played some more Nier, which is real fun. I was actually very surprised to hear that game's apparently only like 10 hours. Which surprised me because I think I'm like 6 into it and I don't know where it's going in the next 4. But apparently it's got a really good like Game Plus mode. And so apparently you can play it once and you get, kind of this set of stuff, and you can play it again. And the second playthrough is kind of different. And then you play it again, and the third playthrough is very, very different. So I don't know. I'm interested. I probably will not play it again.
So why do you think they made 3? You have to go through it 3 times to get 3 different ish stories instead of just making one giant,
I don't know,
30-hour game.
Right? I don't know. I don't understand that myself. And like Game Plus stuff is kind of weird to me anyway. I mean, I guess it's nice if you really like a world, but there's so many games out to play that I rarely find myself like, oh, I'll play that again. So,
right.
But I'm still working through that. It's really fun. It's really pretty. Like I said, it's got some kind of weirdness to it, but it's enjoyable. And then I've just been playing more Destiny, which I'm really, really, really enjoying.
Yeah, so. We need to plan a night of doing like Destiny or the Division.
Destiny is I only have it on. Dylan needs to get the Division on the PlayStation because I have Destiny on the Xbox, so it won't work.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Well, the Division is on sale right now on Xbox.
I'm going to pick up the.
Oh, you need it on
the Division's on sale on PlayStation too.
Okay,
I'm going to buy the DLC tonight because
sweet,
it's $20.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah,
they had a free to play weekend last weekend for the Division, which they usually follow that up with a sale right afterwards.
So yeah, I mean,
worth it.
You should pick it up on the PlayStation, because my brother and I have been having a lot of fun. I think I like Destiny better.
Oh yeah,
but the Division is still very, very fun. It's just more fun in kind of a tactical kind of way.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It was a Tom Clancy.
Yeah, although I was talking to one of our listeners, Kevin, this morning, and we were talking about that, and he said that he had kind of burned out on a lot of multiplayer games, just because he hates dealing with other people. He was looking for a game for him and his brother to play together that, because but I think he was kind of the same way I am. Like, I don't want to play Call of Duty because I don't want to deal with other people. I don't want to play, and even Rocket League kind of got that way where I don't want to deal with other people. I said that the Destiny and the Division were both great for that, because you could literally play it multiplayer with 2 people.
Yeah, and
you could, if you have another buddy who has it, sure, they can jump in. I mean, all 4 of us could totally play any of those games together.
And the matchmaking on the Division is pretty good.
Yeah,
and you don't have to. Like, actually, it's not so in-depth tactical that you need to come up with some strategy.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. Everything is always kind of right there in front of you, and you can kind of figure it out.
But I said it would just be a great game. He wanted to play with his brother, too, and I said it's a great game for just 2 people to play. And there's tons of content. You can play it for hours and hours and hours. So
do it.
Anyway, Dylan.
Yeah.
Well,
I see lots of WWEs.
Yeah, there was kind of a wrestling theme.
There's a theme here.
I don't know why that happened exactly. Maybe I finally saw one last commercial on the WWE network, and I was like, maybe I should try this. But I'll get to that momentarily. Played some more Mario Kart. Still feeling it out. It's great. I still haven't really played the battle mode too much, just because I need to get a group of people together. Because playing battle mode against computers isn't, I don't think, a good way to really experience battle mode.
Yeah, right. We need to get that set up in the office sometime this week and try it out.
And the only thing, I wish there was still more tracks in this game. Like, I wish they included, like, all of the Mario Kart tracks. If this is
Aren't
Mario
there, like,
Kart
40-some tracks?
Like, there's a lot, but, like, the ones that you want to go select it, and it's not there. Like, I'm experiencing that, where I'm like, I want to play that one from the Wii version of Mario Kart. I wish it was there, and it's not. Right. So that's something I've experienced a few times playing it. It's like, where's that Rainbow Road, or where's, like, it has so much, but it's like, it feels so definitive, but it's not.
Yeah.
So that's been my experience so far, but still definitely worth having if you have a Switch, I think.
Yeah. The thing to think about that too is, like, at least I can't promise by the time this is out, but probably close, is if that's something that interests you, you can still get 20% off of that on Amazon. And if you have it on the Wii U, it's still worth like $12 trade-in. So you can get the Switch version for like $36 if it's something that interests you.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
You can still get it cheap on Amazon?
Yeah, because Amazon gives you that 20% discount for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why did I thought it was just the
it's pre-orders and 2 weeks after release.
What?
Which is nice, because then you can actually read reviews and stuff.
Adam has just been hit by a knowledge rocket, and his life will be forever changed.
I know.
He will buy twice as many games now.
It's a good deal though. If you're gonna buy a new game, you may as well pay $48 for it instead of $60 or $49, whatever it ends up being.
Anyway, still climbing that Overwatch ladder. Trying to get better. Won't spend too much time on Overwatch because I think we're going to talk about that next when we move on to news. I did play a lot of WWE themed games though. I kind of got curious about some mobile games, and so I just started there and played a little bit of WWE Champions, which is a WWE skin on a puzzle RPG. Which kind of then I went down the puzzle RPG rabbit hole and played like Marvel Puzzle Quest and these other match 3 style puzzle games with sometimes absurd themes, but I mean they're fun. I mean this puzzle game obviously works and is.
Have you played any of the Puzzle Quest games, Adam?
Not off. Okay, so I played the match 3 type games, but not any of the Puzzle Quest ones.
So
in
they're
particular.
kind of cool. Go ahead and.
So I want to discuss this a little bit more later, but
we're going to talk about this later.
Just a quick description is instead of just like the typical Bejeweled or Candy Crush where you're just matching 3 or more, you have a set of characters or something that will have abilities. So when you, for example, I'll say Marvel Puzzle Quest, if you have Captain America. Or I think it was Iron Man that is like the first character they give you. And when you match red gems, it charges his ability, and then you can use his ability to do damage to the enemies. So I guess it just adds another little layer of objectives to the normal Bejeweled match 3 type formula. That's pretty, I mean, it's just standard get points or match these gems or clear out these jellies in Candy Crush, for instance.
Interesting, because that's actually, like, the original Puzzle Quest was different, where the puzzle solving actually was your fighting mechanic. So everything was like a regular RPG until you got somewhere, and then you'd actually do battle with the gems.
Yeah, so the gems do damage as well, but then they also charge attacks of your characters.
So it's actually gotten a little more complicated.
Yeah, in this formula, I'm sure this genre has evolved quite a bit.
Sure.
But I thought we could discuss those a little bit later.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I tried WWE Supercard, which I've heard pretty good things about this game. It's a very simple concept, but it's kind of like a card battling game where you have random cards that have certain abilities, and so you build a deck, and your deck is only 6 cards or whatever, but certain cards have synergies if they're going to be a tag team or whatever, and then you have like 2 women's wrestlers as well as 4 males on your team, and then you never know what attributes are going to be used in any game, so it's like a best of 3. So when you're matched up with an opponent, it says strength, so you have to pick one card from your deck that says, I'm going to use this to try to beat this person's card that they put forth for strength, thinking about what could come up later. It's a very simple mechanic. There's not a lot of depth to this, though, which is the only thing that I was a little bummed about, just because you do train your cards, which is I mean, so silly to me. After every game, if you win, you get to pick like 2 cards from this pool of cards, and that's a chance to draw a common, uncommon, rare, super rare, ultra mega, super duper rare, whatever rarity class you might draw, and the rare ones are obviously better. So you quickly have better cards, but with all the commons and things, you're able to basically absorb those into your other cards to train them and make them stronger, which on the surface, that's kind of a weird... In essence, the more you play, the stronger your cards will get. And there's not really a lot to combat that other than playing more, which is my only real critique of the game, other than a simple rock, paper, scissors format does work as a game, except there can be imbalances along the way.
Is it a letdown because you play Hearthstone and it's such a deep game and this is just so simplistic that it's almost confusing how simple it is?
It is, and just because I think you have to grind constantly to really keep up. Not that I play bad or anything,
right.
And like I'm performing what I think is okay. I feel like it needs some other mechanic to it that allows it to be able to overcome just, what if your opponent just has 6 better cards than you? You can't really beat that in certain cases. Just because it's simply just picking one against the other. Like if you had like a 9 and they had a 10, it's like the 10 always beats the 9.
Do you think that if you are a wrestling fan and are maybe not a Hearthstone player or a Gwent player, or whatever the Elder Scrolls one, any of those CCG kind of games, do you think it's something that you would enjoy?
I'm guessing that's where this audience is casual gamers that enjoy wrestling, because it is fun, right? They have all kinds of wrestlers cards. I mean, they have retro ones and all these things. So if you have a knowledge of the history of wrestling, or you stay current with it, there's something inherently fun about that.
Yeah, that's
the
cool.
way if you enjoy anything like Marvel games, for example, like if you had a game with a Marvel skin on this, people would love it because they can train Spider-Man and Iron Man and all these characters that they love. So that's fun, and it is always fun when you pick random things and then you pull up this super rare Andre the Giant or whatever it is, and it's like, that's iconic, that's cool, and it's effective in the game. So I mean, that's fun. I don't think there's a lot here for people who aren't into wrestling. I'm kind of curious though, because this has been very well received from my understanding.
I see it all the time on Twitter and YouTube. It's crazy.
And the WWE does promote this game pretty heavily alongside of like WWE 2K17 or whatever 2K game is current. So
how's the monetization work? Do you have to buy packs or?
You can. This is actually one of the best kind of free to play games I've found, just because after every game you play, you will get a new card.
Oh, nice.
If you lose, you get one. If you win, you get 2 picks. And if you win 3-0, you get an extra pick.
Oh, very cool.
So you're constantly gaining cards, and I feel like you actually grow at a rate. You actually don't need to spend any money in this game.
Interesting.
Whereas, again, why I kind of want to discuss the puzzle games later is they had a mechanic where your cards would fatigue, and it would stop you from playing. You know those free-to-play mechanics where you've lost your 5 lives, so you have to wait an hour for them to regenerate. Like, that's annoying, and it that's not the same way you should be pumping into money. But I mean, you could if you wanted to get a couple more cards or find stuff that you like, because obviously you want the characters that you want to play, and you'll find out that they're not that much different, other than the super rare ones are stronger. That if you get the ones you like, there's no reason not to play them, because they can be just as good as the other ones, which is, I guess, another reason that I didn't feel that there was enough variety to really combat some of the balance issues. This stuff was so similar. It was more like just grind to get that card stronger, and it will be.
Interesting. I would only want to play as Andre the Giant. I think he's my favorite wrestler.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of transcends wrestling, right? So
maybe I just really liked him in The Princess Bride. I don't know.
Then there's that.
But I did play a little bit of WWE 2K17 that was on sale with deals with gold, so I got it for half price. I've been wanting to check out this game. I'm obviously a big wrestling fan. And since No Mercy have I, as I mentioned on one of our most recent episodes, which I think is the greatest wrestling game of all time, I haven't played too much yet, so my brief, what's the word?
Your initial impression
of this game. It's not
words.
It's very interesting for a wrestling fan to play this game, I think, because it's less like a fighting game that they used to be.
Yeah.
Because it used to be kind of like a beat 'em up fighting game, and you would pin your opponent. But it's almost feels like more of a game that allows you to put on a good match, like the same way you would watch a match on Raw or SmackDown, and watching a storyline unfold in the ring, and like the underdog conquering. And it does this by, it makes the reversal mechanics pretty easy. You are able to charge up so many reversals, and you use those. But if you use all your reversals, then you don't have anything to reverse with. Much easier than reversals in some fighting games, we know. And it has a star meter, so from 1 to 5 stars, how good your match is, right? So you're using move variety and back and forth. So letting your opponent actually hit you will actually make the match better, because it's not so one-sided. No one wants to watch someone just come in and just cream somebody, right?
That's such an interesting idea.
That's really lame. And of course, like, if you're going to play this competitively, you just want to squash your opponent every time. However, if you're just kind of playing the game to enjoy wrestling, like, you can put on a really enjoyable match where you get hit by your opponent's finisher and you're able to kick out and it does the little, kind of like a quick time event where you have to press A at the right time. And as the match goes and you're fatigued, the area to kick out, it's much, much smaller. And you get 3 attempts to it because it's a 3 count, but it gets so small, and you can kick out at that last second and then are able to deliver your finisher and just make these. I put on like a couple classic rated matches, which were 4.5 stars, like pretty easily, just doing quick one-on-one.
How interesting. And that's such an interesting play mechanic.
Yeah, it didn't feel so much like a fighting game like they might have used to be, and it's I think really geared towards. That's very
interesting
fans.
to like play really hard into like the artistry of wrestling.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I felt that. I don't know if that's just me. I am interested if anyone else has played this, any other wrestling fans out there, to like if they felt this way playing the game. And I think that's kind of the way they're gearing the game towards.
That's so cool. I really like that idea. Like it's not my jam at all, but like I love that idea. That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play that some more, but that's about all I have to say for now, other than that initial impression. So.
There's I wish I could remember what it's called. There's a game on Steam that I've played that's kind of like that, where the entire thing's set in a play.
Yeah.
And so the entire thing takes place on a stage, and you have to, the same thing, you're fighting the bosses, and you have to like do things that make the boss fights more interesting for the audience.
See, I think
that's a cool
that's
idea.
really neat. Like, I mean, the same way you don't want to go to a sporting event and watch someone blow out the opponent 10-0. Like, that's boring. You'd much rather see a 3-2 finish with a goal at the end that in the last 3 seconds, right? Like, that's exciting. That's fun. So it's interesting to be able to work that into some kind of mechanic to make the game close.
That's really interesting. I like that a lot. Nice.
Wow.
Okay.
We've all played a lot of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Well, you and I have.
Yeah, it was
I guess I've been
You were
thinking
busy.
about games a lot more when I play them. Like,
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's one thing this show has definitely done for me. I'm actually being way more critical of games I'm playing and paying attention to a lot more.
Or something triggers you and you go down this rabbit hole, like trying, because you can download so many games free on your phone. You can like play one game and like, oh, I'm gonna go try this iteration of it, this iteration. Oh, this skin, like what's the best? Like, there's just so much out there.
It's definitely fun.
Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch.
The $1 billion industry that is Overwatch.
It's crazy.
Right, $1 billion?
Yeah, they've made more than $1 billion
in less than a year.
Oh, yeah, because the 1 year anniversary is coming up in like a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Or it was just in March.
Yeah.
Oh, was it March?
So I'm
or
guessing
May?
like
it actually says that it was launched on May 24th, 2016.
Oh wow, so it's not
like the
it's
beta
not
started.
been a year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that might be
Okay.
what I'm
30 million registered users before its first birthday. The interesting thing too is that this all came out in an earnings call, and they said that this is the Activision Blizzard company's $8 billion franchise.
Okay.
So
What?
Call of
Along
Duty,
with the Call of Duty.
Oh, Skylanders? That's
yeah.
$1 billion thing?
Yeah, those little toys are expensive.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So now, since I've not played Overwatch, do you have to pay a monthly fee to play, or do you just buy and you can play?
Yep.
One time.
And it's not like if you buy on the PC, it's not even that expensive. It's a $40 game. Although can you buy loot thingies now?
You can buy loot thingies, but they have no effect on you playing
it's
the
all
game.
cosmetics.
It's all cosmetic and aesthetic.
But I bet you there are a lot of people that love those cosmetics.
Man, like they've made over $1 billion just selling the game and aesthetic upgrades.
Isn't
really?
that crazy?
Man,
Right?
Why couldn't I have been smart like that? That's a lot of money.
Yeah. They also announced in the same earnings that Hearthstone has 70 million registered players.
Yeah.
That's free to play.
Now, is that the same company?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah, because
Yeah, it's all
Warcraft.
Blizzard. Yep. Crazy stuff.
Well, so we know they've got a lot of money.
They just do like multiplayer stuff so well. Like,
Right.
I mean, they've had that since the beginning. Anyway, they made a lot of money, but part of that money came from loot boxes, which, as we briefly mentioned, the Chinese government has regulated companies to share probabilities like this because it is somehow gambling, right? There is some unknown chance that when you give Blizzard $2 for 2 loot boxes, that certain things are going to be pulled, and
especially because they have a resale value.
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Well, I mean,
not in this case because you can't. There's no market.
Is there no way to trade?
No.
Oh, okay. Like in Rocket League, they do.
This is something that is the big discussion because this has fired up a lot of people, apparently, because I think it's because a lot of people don't understand probability. But, and it's funny, I read a lot of the forums and discussions below these articles about this, and just, it really comes down to probability and not understanding it very well.
From the standpoint of people don't understand that every single time you open a loot box, the probability resets. It's not like, hey, there's a 1 in 10 chance of getting something.
Yeah,
just because you open,
if I open 10, I'm not getting it all. Right.
No, it's a 1 in 10 every time.
Yeah. But anyway, the probabilities are when you open a loot box, you will get 1 rare item in every loot box. Every 5.5 loot boxes you open, you'll get 1 epic. And in every 13.5, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Legendary.
You get a legendary item.
And
Those
so
are probabilities.
Right, but now, so that's the thing. It's not if you have 14 loot boxes, one of them is going to be.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the odds are good that one will be, but that doesn't mean anything.
The odds are better.
And
I wouldn't say they're good.
Yeah.
Thing is, I have not spent $1 on loot boxes. I've only opened about 40 or whatever it is. That is my level. And what of other occasional ones you get from arcade modes and events and doing things that increases your chance of getting drops or whatever it is. And there's been occasions where I've opened a box with like a legendary, 2 epics, and a rare in it.
Yeah.
Like that happens too. So you might get all fancy things. And I guess the thing is what irks people a lot is the value of duplicates is not very much. You barely get any of the value back if you get a duplicate of something you already have.
Which is tough when you're paying $2 for it.
And I understand why, because if you just happen to open a bunch of duplicate legendaries, it would just allow you to pick the ones you want, and that's not the idea.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be some random gambling element to this for people that want that.
It'll be interesting to see how this affects things like, because the reality is that now, we're talking about Overwatch, but the same thing would apply to any game that has these kind of randomized loot crates, which nowadays is huge. Like I said, Rocket League has
game
it.
for the loot.
These guys have it.
All those puzzle games I was playing where you're getting
So if all the loot in Overwatch is purely aesthetic, why are people clamoring for it? So
people love
like pretty
skins.
things.
Okay,
people
so then
love skins.
So to that end, though, it's like if they're all purely aesthetic and legendary epic, that just is basically describing how rare something is.
Yeah.
Why is that considered gambling? I know you're paying for it, but you're not winning or losing really anything.
My guess is that with Overwatch, maybe it's not, but like with Rocket League, you can trade items and trade crates with other players.
But again, even in Rocket League, the stuff is all purely aesthetic.
Yeah,
right.
but because they have a value, because the crates themselves have a value, it doesn't matter what you can or can't do with them. It's not that they're saying, it's
because there's actual money tied to these.
It's actually money tied to it.
You're spending money and you don't exactly know what you're buying.
Yeah.
And things have a certain rarity to them, I guess. So I think it's kind of silly.
That's real dumb.
But at the same time, it's fair to say. Magic the Gathering does it. They on the back of their packs, they say the chances of you opening a rare is 1 in every pack. Legendary is. They have the mythic rares is like 1 in 35, or I don't remember exactly what the numbers are, but and I think that's completely fair that you know what you're buying, but at the same time,
it'll be interesting to
realize
see.
Most people understand they're spending money on something that's not actually in existence.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, that they have not really said, hey, the statistics that we're giving China are the same statistics that you get in the United States. And there's no way to know. Essentially, they can not say anything, and no one will know if the statistics hold true for the U.S.
It's amazing the conspiracies surrounding this. It's very fascinating.
That's what the internet's for.
I think they have announced, though, that they've never changed it. Like during their events, because people say during the events, I never got a skin or this or that, one of the event skins or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And Overwatch has said we've never changed the probabilities during those events.
Which is crazy to me just when you think about, like, I remember we put this huge matrix of all the event skins from Uprising. And I don't even know how many different things there were possible for you to get from that event. 100?
Yeah.
Like, there was no way, regardless of how much you played, that you could actually get all of them, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And I guess, I don't know, are we just so skewed to think that we can just play the game and have everything from these random drops?
I don't know.
Like, because that's just not how it works.
I'm just very intrigued by how into it people are. Like I said, again, it's not Overwatch for me, it's Rocket League. But I've never paid, because in Rocket League, the way it works is you don't, in Overwatch, you just get the crates and you can open them. In Rocket League, you actually get the crates and then have to pay $1 to open them.
Oh, so you've got them sitting there.
Yeah, and so I just have a ton of crates in my inventory.
Hell of a tease.
Yeah, and
you have to.
Yeah, I've not bought anything just because I'm not like.
You've never paid to open a crate?
Not in Rocket League, no. Yeah, it's just because I'm not that into. Like, I actually like very plain cars. I like to look at some of the other ones, but it's not my jam.
Didn't you buy the Hot Wheels cars?
Oh yeah, I've bought some cars.
Okay.
But I've never bought a crate.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, because the crates are random, and I mean, like my brother, he probably hasn't spent a ton, but I bet you he spent $20 doing it, maybe $30 doing it, and he's gotten some really cool ones. But at the same time, he has like 9 narwhal stickers, and so
yeah, I don't pay for stuff
my thing.
like that.
And that's
about
to me.
The game. That's it.
I'm not a gambler, so to me, this is totally gambling.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm a gambler. It's just when I gamble, I want to win actual money.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to win a sticker.
He's a gambler.
For
He wants to actually lose actual money.
Yeah. I lost plenty.
What about like something of value, like a pack of Magic cards, where you could open a lot of money?
I mean, if I were a Magic player.
I mean, it's.
I mean, I played Magic when I was like 13, 14.
So, I mean, I've cracked open some cards that are worth a couple $100. So. Yeah. And my buddy
just found a new hobby.
My buddy found buddy found the coveted Black Lotus, which he sold for over 10 grand.
Yeah, as I say, they're like $10,000.
What? A card?
Yeah, I mean the gambling's no different than a lottery ticket.
That
right?
section of our podcast was the loudest section of the podcast.
Yeah. A $10,000 Magic card.
Yeah, and that's the cheaper version of the card.
What?
Is it really super good?
Yeah,
Does it basically decimate everything?
No, it was printed. No, it has like the simplest effect imaginable.
What?
But it was in the very early. I mean, when they first printed Magic, they printed a card that they thought this is a card, and then they didn't realize that it completely broke the game. Like this simple mechanic that I think it's add a mana of any color or what.
It doesn't matter.
Pause for just a second.
We're going to look this up.
Tippity-tappity.
Just because, I mean, it's interesting because this is
Holy
game.
Moses. $29,000.
So, okay.
Add 3 mana
of any single color to your choice to your mana pool. Tapping this artifact can be played as an interrupt, but it's about the fact that on turn 1, you could play Black Lotus and have 3 mana. You're only ever allowed to play 1 land card a turn to generate 1 mana. So this card allowing you to make 3 mana on turn 1, that's like
way overpowered.
It's way overpowered, but you would never think that in such an early edition of a game. And it later created combinations where you could win on turn 1 by playing this card to use 3 mana to use this other combination of cards that have been printed over the years, and it just completely. So it's only even allowed in. Like I can't remember what the format's called. That allows any card printed ever.
I think that's fun, but it's not nearly as fun as the one they banned a couple Magic card or a Magic card last week or the week before.
Yeah,
that let you create an infinite herd of cats.
Cats, yeah. Yeah, so these 2 cards interacted in a way that allowed you to play one, and it would discard the other and bring it back to the field, so it would keep re-triggering its effect. So you could literally make infinite cats that have haste, which means they can attack on the turn they're summoned.
So you could make an infinite number of cats and have them all attack
at the same time. So I mean, it breaks the game.
Yeah.
That's a lot more fun.
But yeah, that's much more fun. But I mean, it's fun. It's
a $10,000 card. Let's see. Now that would get me into the video game gambling, knowing that I could find a $10,000 card somewhere. Yeah. I would try that.
But I guess video games are kind of. I mean, we see this occasionally when characters are disabled temporarily because they buffed them in a way that made them. I mean, have some effect on the game that's not intended. So
it's fun.
It's hard to do that when you print cards and they just become super rare and worth tens of thousands of dollars.
Obviously.
So.
Wow. Speaking of cards, credit cards.
Credit cards.
Yes. Now, this is new. For some reason, I thought it was already a thing.
That's why this should be Why Is This News?
Yeah, this is the Why Is This News segment.
But the Nintendo eShop, you could never save your credit card information.
Really?
So if you wanted, and
I guess
it's so frustrating because
you have to type it or tap it in, and there's no like stylus or anything.
Yeah, it's
you can tap it on the screen.
Yeah, you can tap it. It's not that it's that hard to enter credit card information, but just the Nintendo eShop is also silly in the fact that you can't add things to a cart either.
Oh, so you just buy right away. Add funds.
Yeah, you add funds, so you can add some amount of funds or the funds to finish your purchase, right? So if you wanted to buy 2 games at one time, you'd have to run it 2 separate transactions.
Oh, that's obnoxious.
And then put in your credit card information twice. Why?
Yeah, I haven't actually bought that much stuff from Nintendo, but that's annoying.
It's super annoying. But yeah, so there was some silent update that you can now store your credit card information.
So that's nice. Just an update that just happened.
Yeah, it just snuck its way into there. And
it was all back end, doesn't require any updates to your Switch. So that's nice.
And there's but there's still no shopping cart.
I don't know. I haven't tested this yet.
Huh.
Ugh.
But
But at very least, you can just go buy and then buy again.
Well, yeah.
it's 2 transactions, but at least you're not having to do the whole.
Absolutely
process
shocking
twice.
to me how long it's taken video game eShops to like catch up to e-commerce. Like the fact that you ever had to do like, well, you're gonna have to buy some points, and those points are worth some random amount of money, and then like
That doesn't quite match.
We've gamed the entire shop, so you always have money left. I mean, ugh.
It's frustrating. Does Xbox have a cart?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does now.
Yeah, and so does
Okay.
PlayStation.
PlayStation has a
Because I
cart.
can.
Yeah, I can add. Does
Xbox have a cart?
I don't think. Can you? Is there a cart online if you're shopping at
Yeah,
all?
I'm not really sure because I
don't think Xbox has a cart.
Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
You just press buy and then your money.
Yeah, you buy the game.
disappears.
You're right. Yeah. No, you might be
So,
right.
PlayStation, I think, is the only one that really has a cart other than.
Well, PlayStation
PC,
and Steam. Those are where
Yeah.
I do the most damage.
Yeah.
Well, probably because I
Is
also
you
You
Am
have
I
a
the
cart.
only
You
person
can put a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff in it and check out.
Am I the only person that's horribly annoyed by PlayStation Plus stuff though, where every single month you like add to cart and then you have to like click through the like, hey, just so you know, you're getting this PlayStation Plus. If you ever quit PlayStation Plus, you won't have this game anymore.
I don't think it doesn't do that anymore for me. I thought it just said add to library.
Oh, I thought it.
Yeah,
I think when I did it last,
it used to do that.
like
and
last
that was
month, right?
No, last month I just hit add
Maybe
to
it was the
library.
month before.
Yeah,
Oh.
I remember that though. I'm
so
like,
glad they
I
fixed
don't
that
have to
then.
add this to a cart to buy it. I already own it. Just let me put it in my. And then it
nice.
started like I want to say maybe a month or so after I was thinking about
Yeah,
it.
you might be right though. I'm not sure Xbox
think
has a
Xbox
cart
has a
either.
cart, yeah.
Because when I do games with gold, I just open up like 4 tabs
Yeah.
and go boink boink boink.
Which
Yeah.
I'm very cautious with games with gold now because I did get charged.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
I got charged for a free game with gold, and I didn't notice until like 2 months later.
And they refunded you.
They
though,
did
right?
refund me.
Oh, that's good.
And after this, I assume conversation with a robot, but how a robot spells words wrong, I have no idea. So I don't even know who I'm actually talking to.
They probably actually make it misspell words on purpose. So you don't know.
But it's I feel that way, and then I'm like, I'm not stupid, Microsoft. Like, stop trying to think that make me think I'm talking to a real
Or are
person
you?
because I'm not. But they're like, in this one-time thing, a duty that will give you your money back.
Yeah, so I
and
guess-
I'm like, well, no, you screwed up. Like,
Right.
there's no reason I bought a free game and should have been charged $35 for it.
Moral of the
So-
story: keep your eye on your bank account after buying games with gold.
Yeah, because I don't really check my
Yeah.
ins
I
and
would
outs
never know.
that
I don't think about it
often.
that much. Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird.
Yep.
And I actually found it. I didn't find it in my credit card statement or anything. I found it when I looked at my previous
Oh, your
purchase
receipts
history
in your-
on
yeah.
Xbox. It doesn't show games with gold. Those don't actually go through as purchases. So I was like, that's weird because I hadn't bought anything actually on the store for a while. And like, because I think it was the Project Cars or something that is what I had downloaded. And it showed up there, and I was like, that's weird, because none of the other games with gold are showing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they charged me for that.
That's crazy.
Huh. And I have no idea why.
Thank goodness
or
you
what-
caught it, though. I mean, I guess
what
that's
link.
the.
Yeah, but I guess the real moral is if you do catch that, contact them as immediately
quickly as possible,
They
yeah.
will probably refund you, but they'll probably say it's a one-time thing,
Yeah.
Burp.
even though it's their fault and they're robots, so they don't really know better than reason.
Well, Nintendo certainly made it easier for a whole lot of people to start spending money a lot quicker. So they're
Like
going to make more
I
money.
need literally, there's like 9 games on sale today that I want. I could go out and spend $50 today. I'm
Well,
trying really hard not to.
I just spent $40 on Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I
Just
bought.
now?
Yeah, I bought the Mario Kart
Nice.
while we were doing the show. I'm gonna. Get
I
it.
bought Death Road to Canada right before we came here.
Road to Canada.
Yeah, it's a
Isn't
Steam
that
game.
any road to Canada?
I've driven to Canada at least twice. It was safe both times.
Well, yeah.
It's a zombie apocalypse game where your entire goal is to get to Canada.
That sounds
And then
really
you
original.
drive right back, like that Mad Max movie that came out recently?
No.
Okay.
It's actually supposed to be super fun. It's multiplayer. We'll have to try it.
That'll be fun.
You can play Santa.
Your favorite game of all time?
Yes, Rocket League.
Slowly fading.
Yeah, Rocket League and I
out of
are on a break.
existence, though.
I've
They're
not played,
fighting.
Yeah, I haven't played Rocket League in like 2 weeks. So
Aw.
I know, right? But no, there's a new update coming out. For those of you that actually play Rocket League, the Tokyo, what was the name of that? Neo Tokyo map.
Mhm.
That
Is
had
that the one with the two different
multi-tier
levels?
yeah, the multi-tier
levels.
level.
That level
Like,
irritates
nobody
the
liked
crap
that.
out of me.
I think the worst part about it, like, I just barely started playing enough where I was actually getting kind of okay good at that, and then they pulled it. And so, but they're bringing it back. It was your Trey thing.
Oh.
They're bringing it back, but they've it'll look the same, except they've leveled out those uppers, so it'll be a normal flat level.
Just all one level?
It just looks really cool in like future Tokyo, so
nice.
Which is cool. But then the old Neo Tokyo is coming back as Tokyo Underpass, and it'll be available for private matches, and like I think it just won't be in competitive play. So
how do you feel about that?
I understand why they did it.
Because it's a terrible,
every single time they
map.
try, like I know that Rocket League wants to bring in new cool maps that disrupt things, but every time they do it, nobody likes them.
Yeah, because it doesn't really work with the game, right?
No.
Like,
yeah, I Neo Tokyo literally probably took me 6 months to figure out. The new, I don't remember what it's called. It's that the kind of future Halo-y looking one. It's got like this kind of elongated octagon thing I absolutely detest. It's a horrible, horrible map. A lot of people hated Wasteland, or I don't know, the kind of Mad Maxy looking one. I actually personally really liked that level, and that one stayed in play. So I don't know. That's probably actually one of my favorite levels. I like it a little bit bigger, a little bit more open. Yeah. But you know, so this is it's a cool thing that I understand why they did it, even though like towards the end I was getting to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm actually almost kind of good at this map, and there was a lot of cool mechanics in that map where if you got good at it, you could go off the upper level and do some cool dribbling and aerial kind of stuff. So
that's what I'm wondering. I understand that creates such a challenge for the player base, but at the same time, shouldn't that kind of reward
people that can do it
if you're playing?
My only real argument against it is that there's no way to say I only want to play this map. Like, that's what I really need.
You can't practice on it.
Yeah, and you can, but only if you're willing to set up a private game with, you know, a bunch of other people. Like, I would like to be able to check, like, this thing is new. Only put me in games on this map. I'm willing to wait a little bit longer. Yeah. So you could actually just, like, grind that map for 2 or 3 days and, like, figure out the tricks of it. You know, only getting play, you know, you could play for 2 hours and only play that map once. It's really hard to get that practice. So, but with that same update, you're going to get a new battle car. It is part of the Batman versus Superman kind of thing. It's called Mantis. It's awesome green. Looks kind of like a katydid, kind of angular and green. It's a really cool looking car. So I'm kind of excited about that. I don't know. It's kind of one of those low flat cars that I'm not super into in this game, but it looks really cool. That if I drop in and play again, I may pick that up just because I think it looks really cool.
And now all these cars and stuff, none of them handle differently. None of them do anything differently. It's just all you might think
it's
they
all
do
in your mind.
Well, I don't know. I've heard that they have a slightly different turning radius on some of them. They do have a slightly different hitbox.
Okay,
but not like. I would love to know how much of it is mental and how much of it is actually true, because like that's the thing is I go in there and play as a big van and I'm like, oh, this is so slow and the turn and then I go in and play as whatever. They just feel different, but I can't tell. I can never say how different they actually feel. And people all the time, oh, so and so pro plays as this car, I should play as this car. I'm like,
that's
I don't know,
funny.
but then again, like there's 2 cars that I play as, and I love both of them. So
I mean, has Rocket League actually?
Yeah, and I mean, they say that there is a slight difference in hitbox, and they, I think there's very slight differences, and maybe those slight differences really do matter on a bigger scale.
Yeah. But so I'm just wondering if a car is actually bigger and its wheelbase is farther apart, then its turning radius would have to be
a little bit different.
They really stuck to physics unless they hit it underneath.
But I think the hitboxes are different. I think the turning radiuses are slightly different. But I mean, the reality is the cars are all pretty much the same size too. So.
Yeah, it's not really like a monster truck versus a little coupe.
Like but I mean, on the flip side, like I don't remember what it was, but that little round one that looks like a bubble with wheels, like that thing should be able to do like an incredibly tight circle, and I don't think it really can. So I don't know. I'm sure there are people that are better than I am that can really tell the difference, and they can tell you why one's better than another. But for me, it's just they've always felt a little off. So, and then there'll also be new nitrous powered crate drops. So you'll get the new nitro crates, which
that you won't open.
Yeah, no, which I won't open. They come with all sorts of other stuff.
But you'll have a bunch of them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played in at least 2 weeks. It might be 3 weeks now.
That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
But I think I would like to see Rocket League 2 if it was like a Rocket League Twisted Metal crossover where it was like battle cars.
That would be cool.
Like you put like rocket launchers.
We have actually my kid actually really likes doing custom games where you you can make it so any collision will make your cars explode. And he just likes to drive around and like see how many times you have to keep track yourself, but how many times you've like blown up another car.
Yeah.
So
it would be fun to see some modes like that incorporated in the game. I think.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff. They do new cool things all the time. So we'll see.
All right, what? What? Come on, we're waiting.
Let me clear my throat.
All right, Master P. Na. Hopefully we don't have to pay royalties when I say that. Would you please introduce the next segment?
Hey, Vinny. Guess what time it is?
What is? Did you make that up? Or is that from something?
What did I make up?
Why is your voice? You're like a Mickey from the Bronx right now.
Yeah, so what? I'm Mickey from the Bronx and I'm looking for Vinny. Where's Vinny at?
Coming soon to Disney, New York City.
I can't decide if this is my favorite segment or my least favorite segment.
Oh, it's my favorite segment.
I love this segment. I just don't. This intro, I don't know. Vinny's questions are always good.
Yeah, Vinny's questions are really good. His intro is not always the best, but it's whatever. We're trying. It's a work in progress.
Anyway.
So what's Vinny asking us this week?
Asking us? Vinny wants to know what our predictions are for E3 this year. What do we think that Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, etc. will announce for this E3?
I have no clue.
I have some thoughts.
Oh, that's good because I don't.
Microsoft is obviously going to be talking big time on Scorpio. Which I'm super excited about. You're going to buy one, Adam. Like every day you're going to be a little bit closer to buying a Scorpio.
Probably.
It's going to be great.
You'll be the Scorpio King.
That was such a bad movie. Please don't ever do that again.
What? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is
exactly, and I rest my case.
Is the biggest actor in Hollywood right now.
He's talking about running for president.
It's good that he's the biggest actor in Hollywood. Does not make him the best.
I'm not saying he's the best at all.
The Scorpion King was bad not because of The Rock necessarily, but just because the CGI was so terrible,
so bad.
But anyway,
I don't remember. It's been a long
time. He was 4 when it came out, so
right.
I was married.
So the Scorpio, we know Microsoft's going to be.
We'll be talking
talk about
Scorpio.
That.
We'll get pricing, which will be awesome. We'll find out what it's actually going to be called.
Okay. Do you think they're going to talk anything about this HoloLens stuff at all?
HoloLens is really for them, I think. HoloLens specifically is aimed at a more prosumer or even business market. So no, I don't think that'll be anything at E3. But they are launching a lot of what they call AR VR headsets from Dell and
because I want to say I saw one from Asus.
Yeah, Asus
it's super
one.
cheap, but it's supposed to be like on par.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be on par, but I think it's something. They'll be interesting to kind of see. The buzz around them is kind of not quite there yet, so I would not be surprised if you hear something about that. I think you'll hear, obviously, both. All 3 of those were going to have some big game release stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something about maybe Halo 6. I don't know if it'll be coming out, but like Halo 6 coming next year. You'll get a launch date for Scorpio, which will be awesome. We're going to probably Sea of Thieves from Microsoft. Will probably I hope that Nintendo announces the Raving Rabbids Mario role-playing game crossover thing. Weird. Like that makes my brain explode, but I actually really am kind of excited about
Did you either of you play the Raving Rabbids?
Oh, hell yeah. I love those games.
On the Wii, that was like the best.
Yeah. Amazing party game. So I don't know exactly. I heard a day, 2 ago that like what it is you can play as Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Toad, and then as raving rabbits dressed up as those characters. So I don't know. It's not officially confirmed yet, but I'm very excited about that.
And it's an RPG, though.
RPG, yeah. I would guess we'll see, hopefully we're going to see some more PlayStation VR stuff because they've been kind of quiet on that front. Stuff comes out, but it would be nice to see.
Like there's not been any really big.
Yeah, I'd like to see like a new like Resident Evil style release for that. Obviously PlayStation right now has a bajillion exclusives that they're talking about, so I think we'll see a lot of cool games. But I think what I'm really excited about for E3 is the stuff that we don't expect. We're going to see some cool, like I would love to see right now there's a Star Wars game that we know is being worked on, but we don't have any details on it. It's that one that's being built by Amy Hennig's studio that's owned by EA. That could be, I'm very excited about seeing what that may be. That might get an that might get an E3 release. I think that Nintendo could really maybe surprise us, although they usually don't do a lot of big stuff at E3. So we'll have to see.
With as massive as the Switch is, it would kind of like be smart for them to make a big presence. They're riding a really serious wave right now, and I think that taking advantage of E3.
You would think so, but
especially since it's now open to the public.
Yeah. I'll be very interested to see how that plays out, since I still don't think they've sold out of those tickets. Like, everyone thought, hey, we released 15,000 tickets and they're going to get snatched up.
Oh, I thought they did.
No.
Oh.
I mean, as of a week ago, they hadn't. Oh. So, like, you can still buy public tickets to get into E3, I believe. But, I mean, they're kind of weird. Like, E3 isn't like, it's not like PAX. It doesn't happen over a weekend. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you not only, but the thing is it's made for press. So you not only have to get like 3 days off work, but you've got to get to LA. And if you, like, frankly, by the time they release the people tickets, if you didn't already have a hotel, you're probably like staying in a shady Airbnb with, 8 other guys.
Not going to do that again.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'll be interested to see how that plays out and if they do it again next year.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's going to be fun, and I'm going to try. I mean, it does happen during the, like I said, during the workday. For us. So, but I'm going to try and live tweet as much of that as I can. But I mean, a lot of it too, like the thing about E3 that's weird is like EA is not at E3 this year. They do their own press conference.
Blah blah blah.
They have
all of a sudden they're just too good.
Yeah, they have a big. Well, I think really what they found out is that it's really expensive to get a booth at E3, and it's way cheaper to just rent out a big facility and do your own thing. So EA's is, I want to say, actually a couple days before E3. But even like the Microsoft and the Sony announcements aren't that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They're all over the weekend. So
the weekend before?
The weekend before, yeah. So, but they are actually taking place at E3. So
if EA is not there, does that only leave 2 E's?
Yes. Yep. It's EE.
It's E2 this year?
E2 this year, yeah.
E squared.
And no A's, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no,
E3
E3 is going to be
under these conditions.
Yeah, E3 is going to be great. I really hope that we can figure out a way to go to E3 next year. I think that'd be
well. And I've got at least 2 friends of mine that neither of you have met that are going to E3. So like I've got. You got people. I might even have 3 or 4 people that I know going. So.
That's the thing that maybe people don't know is Adam knows people.
I know people.
It's been very strange. Like every once in a while, I'm just throw out like, oh yeah, that person. I'm like, that person's real famous. How do you know that person? But anyway. Second question for today from my brother Colby, who I spent all last week with. It was great. He came out from Utah and we hung out, played some games. He says, what movie would you like to see turned into a good video game and vice versa? Like, I would like any video game to be turned into a good movie. Right?
Please, somebody.
Yeah, right?
So are we starting with
what
movie that we want to see
to a game?
Video game adaptation?
Yeah, what do you think?
Movie turned into a good video game.
I would like to see a Titanic video game.
Like,
kidding, it's a joke. That's a joke.
He said
we all know how the movie ends.
He literally said that with the straightest face I've ever seen. I'm like King of the World, Titanic, really?
So the funny thing is, I feel like most video game adaptations of movies are games that I would have liked to have been great. So,
right? Yeah.
The Hitman movie, like, I think it wasn't awful. But it wasn't the worst adaptation, but I mean that's such a cool.
It's a great story, great premise.
Yeah, it's a great premise for a great movie.
For me, I think if I was going to pick a game that I'd like to be seen made into a movie, I think the important thing is not making a Halo movie starring Master Chief. Like I would love to see like a Skyrim movie. Or something set in like that kind of Elder Scrolls universe, but not starring, like not taking place in any of the stuff you've already seen. Like, do a really cool like Game of Thrones style stuff about like, I mean, that story is really compelling. Like, there's this weird like race war with these one group of people versus the other, and it's like some of the Jarls are like crazy racist. Like make that a story. Do it great Game of Thrones styles and make a really good movie set in that universe, but not anything to do with you punching out dragons and hierodufuking things and
exactly.
You haven't played Skyrim yet, have you?
No.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Yeah.
I mean that's one of my favorite things in adaptations in general is when they just exist within the universe.
Yeah.
Why I really enjoy the show Gotham. Kind of for that reason, because it's set in the Batman universe that we know.
Yeah.
But Batman's not the star. Batman's a little kid, and he does have this place in the show, but it's kind of cool to just see that street level crime existing before those huge characters were built.
Yeah, no, I can totally get behind that. And I think that concept, like, I mean, one of my very favorite games from a decade ago, probably, maybe even longer, was Star Wars Galaxies, which is a massively multiplayer game that was set in the Star Wars universe and set in all of the famous places in the Star Wars universe. I mean, like, my house that I had in that game was on Tatooine, which is great, but it really didn't involve any of the characters. And frankly, when they started bringing, like, at the first game, there were no Jedi. And when they brought Jedi into that game, it kind of ruined it. So it was cool just being a person that lived in that universe and did things that you would think of in that universe. Like, I was a bounty hunter, and that was cool. So I could see that same idea working into the reverse. Take a story that is good and make it into a movie, but it doesn't have to be, take a universe and make it into a movie, not a character and make it into a movie.
Yeah. Along the same lines, I thought of this Kill Bill. I want to play as Beatrix Kiddo or the Bride and be in, like, that kind of game, like Bayonetta, or just this crazy hack and slash game where I'm just on a revenge mission to just slaughter a bunch of people with a samurai sword. Just kind of in that Tarantino universe. Like, if Tarantino was the writer on this big, long, hack and slash, crazy, violent crime drama, thrilling video game, like, I think I'd play that twice.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like, the opposite of that, like, and this actually might be why he brought that up, but we've been playing a ton of Destiny lately and really enjoying Destiny. Like, I've really enjoyed that game, but, like, probably every time we play, we're like, man, if Destiny was just Star Wars, it'd be so much cooler,
right? Like that's the thing. If they'd have done a Star Wars Battlefront with as much whatever as Destiny's got, I would be into that all over.
Like, I mean, there's so many Star Wars games coming out right now, and I would love one of them to just be like
good.
Yeah, well, I love Battlefront too, but like, I loved the idea of Battlefront. Those kind of games are never going to be my kind of games, but the game was super enjoyable. I know you hated it, but whatever, you're dumb. But I mean, like, I play Destiny, and I'm just like, this game's great. Why couldn't I be going to it could literally be the same game, and they could just, like, change the names of the locations,
right?
Change what they look like, and, like, hey, it's a great Star Wars game.
Pretty much.
And I actually read today that EA, unfortunately, kind of, they didn't lay anyone off, but EA Montreal, which is where Mass Effect Andromeda was made, they actually took a bunch of those people and moved them to other studios and changed that studio from being a studio that makes games to a studio that helps other studios make games, which is kind of unfortunate. But I mean, like I said, the good news is they didn't actually lay anyone off. But one of the things EA said is that they're going to start focusing on kind of that games as a service, like Destiny and The Division, where you make a game and you take care of it for 3 years instead of making a new game every 3 years.
I'm looking forward to that.
And so, like, I would love a Star Wars game with that idea. Like, that could be really cool. So, do you have any thoughts on that, Adam?
As far as a game to a movie?
Yeah, or vice versa.
I don't know. Like, I agree on the whole, take a universe and make a movie within that universe, but not a story that you've already seen or played or been told. Like, I think the perfect example are the Walking Dead games from Telltale. They're in the same universe. The common character in it all is the zombies.
Yep.
And you're not telling a story that's already been told. You're telling a separate story.
Yeah. And it's really cool when a couple characters do pop up, though, that are
And I think that's
familiar.
And you make a reference to it. And you're like, yeah, wink, wink, nod,
and then
nod.
they leave, and then you know what that character goes on and does because you watched the show.
I mean, that's the entire idea, really, of Rogue One. And I know you didn't like Rogue One, but I love Rogue One.
I enjoyed it for what it is. I don't think it should be called a Star Wars movie, but whatever. I did enjoy it and where it sits and its purpose.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed that idea of it. Like, you know how that movie starts, and frankly, you know how that movie ends.
I guess I didn't, but
but it was just kind of sprinkled with characters from like, it gave you an entire new set of people to enjoy, and
that you will never see again.
Yeah, they all died. Oh, spoilers.
Oh, if you haven't seen Rogue One by this point, well, you're a bad nerd.
You're a bad nerd.
I haven't seen it.
Really?
No.
Did you plan on seeing it?
It's actually sitting in my room right now.
You should watch it. It's really good.
You knew how it ended, though.
I honestly don't know much about it.
I will tell you, first of all, sorry about that. I apologize, and to anyone else that hasn't seen it, I guess. even if you don't watch it, watch the last 2 minutes of it because, like the Darth Vader.
Yeah, it was really good hearing James Earl Jones back as Darth Vader. Like, he came back and redid those.
Cool. It's a good movie.
Lines. It's cool. Anyway, sorry, but yeah. So Walking Dead, the Telltale series, that's my perfect kind of like game from a movie or game from some other thing. But yeah, don't retell a story that we've already seen, or try and tell it differently because we know how it should go based on playing the game. Unless it was something really, really terrible to begin with, then give it another shot because you can't really screw it up worse than it was done.
Ishtar, the video game.
I have no idea.
Shadow of Mordor kind of did a good job at this. Being existing in the Lord of the Rings universe, which isn't a movie, it's a lore in itself, but
still
along those lines, you're just this ranger and you're going and killing a bunch of orcs and goblins.
I actually own that game, but I've never played it.
It's a lot of fun.
I bought it for like $1.50 over the.
Yeah, I got the Game of the Year edition or whatever for $10.
Yeah.
So totally, from what I hear, it's exactly
I hear it's terrific. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we'll get there.
But I still think my favorite video game to movie conversion is Super Mario Brothers. Anyway, I'm kidding. It's terrible.
No, that movie's great.
I love Bob Hoskins though.
It was terrible. And what's his butt who played Bowser? Dennis Hopper.
Oh yeah.
That's terrible.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure I've ever actually seen that movie.
You really? You need to watch it.
Maybe
you got to watch it. I remember watching it at the Dollar Theater in West Palm Beach, Florida. My dad took us to it one random weekend because I loved my Super Mario Brothers, and I remember watching it. I was like maybe 10 or 12. I'm like, what the hell is this crap? I want my $1 back.
I love it.
All right, now on to
cheap free games.
I love that.
Yeah, they're the best kind of games, really.
Well, I don't know if they're the best.
That's probably true. Some of them are good, though.
Yes.
A lot of the free ones are garbage, though.
That's true.
It's when you get them for free.
And they're good?
When they're normally expensive. Not free.
There you go. Anyway, after that very confusing intro, Quake Champions Open Beta starts, let's see, today is, so it'll start tomorrow for all y'all. If you're in the closed beta, you automatically get into the open beta. So if you're not in it already, you might want to go sign up. I believe they're still taking applications. You can play the new Quake for free for about a week, I believe. It's supposed to be really, really good. If you remember kind of the old Quake deathmatch stuff, it's really, really fast. A lot of classic weapons. I hear people were initially very skeptical of it, and everyone that I've heard play it has spoken very highly of it. I'll probably be playing it this weekend and maybe capturing some footage, and you can all see how bad I am at Quake.
It's a PC only thing?
It is a PC. That's a really good question. I'm not sure.
So is Quake speedy and similar to Doom?
Probably faster, actually.
Faster than Doom?
Yeah.
Ooh, what?
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah, I am not sure if it is a PC only thing. And
yeah, because I've always heard about Quake over the years, and I'd never known what
Quake
it was.
3, man, was so my jam in like 1999. I worked at this place.
Is it that old of a series?
Oh yeah. The first Quake came out in probably, it came out when I worked retail, so I'm going to guess like 94, 95. But then Quake 3 came out probably in late 90s, early 2000s, and it was back in the day where it was really cool. With one CD, you could play with up to 3 networked computers. So you could install it on up to 3 computers and play them networked. And so we had 2 or 3 CDs, so we could play like 9 or 10 player deathmatch. And so we, after work, we just all get together and play deathmatch for, an hour. It was great. Really, really good fun.
Nice.
So that is available if you want to try that out this weekend. And also, if you're interested in Stellaris, it is part of the Humble Bundle monthly for, let's see, it is May, so June.
Sure.
Yeah, for next month.
You know what? I actually saw something or whatever, and I paid to unlock next month already.
Oh, you already have Stellaris?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's. I have not played it. It's a strategy game from Paradox, I believe, and it retails for $40. So if you want to get it for $12, that's a pretty good deal, and you'll also get another 5 or 6 games. And I've heard really, really good things about it if you're into kind of like space strategy stuff. So you can check that out.
Cool.
Dylan wants to talk about Match 3 puzzle games some more.
Yeah. So in our small bite segment for mobile games.
Because a lot of mobile games are the Match 3 kind of thing.
I think it's such a good format for that game.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't want to really boot one of these up on my Xbox, and it just wouldn't be really worth it. But I never really played a lot of these other than maybe the classic Bejeweled
Yeah.
or Candy Crush. But then like the actual match 3 puzzle RPG style games where you have characters and they're fighting and doing damage with your matches of gems, which is a pretty cool mechanic on how to...
Oh, yeah. I adored the original Puzzle Quest. Like, it was really high on my list of things that I liked. And the only problem I had with it on a mobile device was that, I mean, and I think I played it a couple years ago, too, so iPhones were smaller, is that you'd miss poke your match 3s and then you'd lose. But they're a super fun genre. And I mean, I think that, like, whatever your fandom is now, there's probably a Puzzle Quest game that... kind of hits that. And so you played a couple of... Which ones did you try?
Yeah, so I played Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Nice.
And then I played the WWE Champions, which were pretty similar. I liked things about both games separately. So I'm kind of just curious. And some of this, I think, came down to horrible free-to-play, the way... just drives me crazy.
I think that's the thing is this free to play mechanics can be good and bad, and it's pretty easy to recognize which ones are good. And so it's shocking to me that how many of them just are like, well, we'll do bad ones instead. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and I guess I understand they're trying to get me to spend some money, but like I'm trying to enjoy your game, and if I just had to pay $10 once,
yeah,
I'd be fine.
Like Super Mario Run.
But for example, in WWE Champions, I'm ignoring you.
Ignored you purposely. I was like, you'll pay $10 for a good game, and then you said Super Mario Run. I'm like, yeah, or a good game.
Still waiting for you to say a good game.
Yeah.
Anyway, like my pros for WWE Champions were, I quickly was able to unlock new wrestlers or different characters, and I was able to use them. Once you have a lot of them, it became pretty hard to level them up consistently, so they're all at a level in which I can progress through the game at.
Sure.
However, the damage you take during the rounds, unless you have med kits to heal them...
Wait, healing your wrestlers?
Yeah. So they take damage after the round, and eventually, if you actually are... reduced to 0, they'll be injured, so you have to use a med kit to revive them and then a med kit to heal them. So it would take 2 med kits to be able to use this wrestler. And at some point you get enough that you can play enough of the game to be like, okay, I'll set it down and let but they also heal at a snail's pace.
Yeah.
And you also get a new med kit every 20 minutes or something, up to 5.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then if the game is having some technical difficulties connecting to the server or something, they'll just say, here's 20 medkits for your troubles. Or, hey, come back and play our game. Here's a bunch of medkits. So that happened pretty frequently. So I didn't really have trouble healing my guys too much, except it also runs on kind of this rock, paper, scissors mechanic with 6 or 8 different classes of wrestlers, like Powerhouse and Striker and Trickster and Agility or Acrobat or whatever.
Sure.
And each one has a 25% gem bonus over the other. So obviously you want to use certain characters against certain characters to get the advantage, but if those characters are injured and it's like, oh, I don't want to use the other one, so I'll just put the game down. So like that was a silly... I just...
Did you ever have the urge to spend $1 to buy more med kits, I assume?
No.
Yeah.
Just because I don't... That's a rabbit hole. And I know that.
A real deep one.
I'm going to pay $5 now to play the game more right now. It's like, that's silly. Please let me just pay once.
Yeah.
Now, Marvel Puzzle Quest, I like some things better and some things less better.
The answer, that's worse.
Okay. Your characters in Marvel Puzzle Quest aren't fatigued unless they die or are knocked out in a round. So you're not healing them necessarily. I'm sure there's a way to buy it. But your roster's not very big until you buy. So if you win a character or something, you actually can't add it to your roster until you spend 50 coins to get another space in your roster. And it's like, that's annoying. So I have like a couple like Rocket League loot boxes, right?
Yeah.
So I have these couple characters and I can't use them because I don't have any gold, because I'm not going to spend money on gold, and you get it not very quickly.
I'm thinking that maybe because the mechanics of these sound very different than like the original Puzzle Quest I played. I played Puzzle Quest and then some other themed Puzzle Quest. It sounds like they've changed a lot, and I'm kind of wondering if I got out of Puzzle Quest at the right time.
Well, I saw Puzzle Quest on my iPhone, and I didn't pick it up, but I think it's $2.99. So I'm wondering if I buy the $3 Puzzle Quest, if I'm not going to have those.
And now I kind of wonder if I own Puzzle Quest.
Those nitpicky free-to-play mechanics that I really, really, really want to avoid.
Yeah.
I know Kevin's got Puzzle Quest, I'm pretty sure, in his Steam library, so I know I can play it.
I forgot you can actually buy that on the PC, too, to get you. Yeah.
But I know Cliff said he loves these games. What do you think, Adam, about
the match 3 kind of things, or the free-to-play type stuff?
All of that, but also kind of, to me, this is kind of like, as much as I enjoy it, it's kind of an absurd skin to put on a puzzle game, right? It seems silly, but I think it works really well as a game. I think it does.
So. I mean, so I remember playing, I've not done the match 3 fighting type Puzzle Quest things, but I remember, and it's one of your favorite games, is Super Puzzle Fighter.
Ooh.
So, and it's similar to where it's almost like a Tetris / beat 'em up game, where the more combos you get over, in the Tetris grid, that powers up your character for attacks or whatever. And I think they're super fun.
Yeah, it was that Super Puzzle Fighter is such a weird premise. Like you're playing Street Fighter, but you're fighting with Tetris.
But I think it does work really well because instead of just hitting buttons for combos, I mean, you can visually see, and when you hit those 4 gems, you know what those things.
What I loved about Puzzle Fighter is and we were talking about this yesterday, is that, Puzzle Fighter is a strange concept when you think about, why would you, I've got to fight 2 things. Why are we fighting via a match 3 game? And he's like, that just doesn't make sense. So I'm like, well, yeah, but does it make any more sense than, I hit a guy, and now I have to wait 20 seconds before I can hit a guy again.
Right.
Roll a dice.
Yeah,
right?
or roll a dice. Or
any RPG ever, right?
Yeah, so, weird, unless it's, a real-time game where you're actively hitting people, any battle mechanic's weird, so why couldn't it be a match 3 game? I mean, it's
and at least
slow,
with a match,
but it's kind of fun.
It is, but at least with a match 3, it's not just dependent on whatever the role of the blocks are. It also determines how well you're paying attention to what's going on.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you could have the best screen setup ever and still get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Because you're not playing right.
Well, like
so
I said, too,
strategy.
I would, I'd misshit something. I'm like, oh, I'm done now. I lost. So,
fat fingers.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Why,
right. Fat finger, small screen. It happens. But I think it's a fun mechanic. I really do.
Yeah, I like them on the mobile. I like having games like that because they don't require a whole lot of thought.
Yeah.
And if I'm on just a quick little 5-10 minute commute somewhere, I can pull it out and I've got 5-10 minutes worth of entertaining gameplay and I'm done.
Yep. Yeah. I hear you. Which might really work for their kind of free to play mechanic too, where you don't have to worry about hitting that, oh, my player's dead. I got to wait 20 minutes for a new medkit.
You don't necessarily get to the part where it starts to suck.
No. Even when I played Candy Crush, why am I...
I paid money for that sometimes.
Why am I having to wait to play this game?
Yeah, it's not my thing. The only free-to-play game I really played was the dragon one, where you'd raise dragons and breed dragons. And it was mostly because my kid loved
Dragon Island or something?
Dragonville? I don't know, whatever.
But I mean, maybe that's the game's way of saying, hey, you have a life. You need to go do your job or go to the bathroom or something.
Apparently these games don't know me very well. I have very little life.
Maybe that's their way of saying, hey, there's more out there.
That was my theory at first.
Oh, please.
No, because I legitimately thought, the first time I was playing these games, I'm like, this is a way so people don't just stare at their phones all day. But I'm like, no, because those health timers aren't that long.
I'm pretty sure you don't understand how capitalism works.
If you kind of just wait a little bit, that's going to replenish and you can keep playing. They're really trying to get you to spend money. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not.
Did you see the South Park episode of the South Park season where they create the free-to-play game?
No.
Oh, you need to watch it. I want to say it was season 14 or 15. Oh, it's fantastic. Where the Canadians invent a game, and you have to buy into their currency. Hey, but you should spend money, and it's really, really hilarious. If you want to see the best skewering of the whole free to play mechanic, where after watching that, these companies don't give a crap except for making $1. They don't want you to get up and go outside. They want your money.
But it's I am enjoying your game.
Yeah. They know that. That's why they're charging you.
They don't care if you enjoy their game or not. They care whether you give them money or not.
But I'm not going to. They're not. They're getting $0 from me instead of 10.
Yeah, but really, who makes those games are the whales. It's the 1% of people that spend 90% of the money.
Yeah,
so.
it's true.
Crazy.
Yep, it's gross. Anyway,
right. So lastly, this week,
is Dylan gonna bitch about trolls again, or are we talking Dreamhack?
It's both.
Oh, is it the same thing?
Yeah. So we had a friend of the show in Dreamhack at Dreamhack Austin, a gaming convention, and looking up that event and through his coverage of it, I found a trolley moment that kind of got some people fired up, and it's just something fun to talk about. But
yeah, so Nick Russ, Adam met him for the first time at BetaCon. He is on Twitch at twitch.tv/highjump, HIJUMP. And he's offered to do a little bit of...
He's a Twitch streamer, and he's just a video game fan, and he goes to all these conferences, and he's got a lot of access to a lot of places we want to go. So we kind of teamed up with him and chatted a bit about where we're going, and he's going to be all over the place. He's going to be at E3 this year, so we're going to get some live, on-the-ground footage. Yeah. From E3, and he was at Dreamhack.
We have the same thing at Dreamhack. We're going to put a video together in the next day or two of what he did at Dreamhack. We've seen the footage. It looks real cool. So, cool guy. But while Dylan was looking at that footage, he ran across some trolling at Dreamhack.
Yeah.
Not in the sense we normally talk about, but I enjoy this.
I think this is just, this is a lot of fun in general. It's a super trolly situation. So in the Super Smash Brothers Melee tournament, in the finals, Hungrybox took the crown with Jigglypuff, which in itself is very trolly. Who picks Jigglypuff, right?
I love Jigglypuff.
I mean, obviously these are the competitive players. I'm kind of just making a joke. It's Jigglypuff sounds like a troll pick, right?
Yeah.
However, the victory came over Chudat's Ice Climbers. For those of us kind of familiar with Super Smash Bros., Ice Climbers have the most troll move in Smash Bros., I believe. They can do this grab combo. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
It has a name, and it's banned in a lot of tournaments. They can basically infinitely grab you until
you die.
Wow,
exactly.
Really?
It's just it's a win mechanic kind of. But so there's enough trolling already. But Hungrybox is obviously in the know of what's going on. So he picked a character that has a slight mobility advantage over the Ice Climbers. And early on, and this is in the final round, so I think the rounds were 8 minutes.
Oh, geez.
And I think it was a 3-stock game, so you have three lives. That was my understanding. We're just watching the video, and early on, one of the Ice Climbers was gone, so they were down to one Ice Climber, which... Again, the Ice Climbers are a pair.
Yeah, so you can kill one.
You can kill one, and the other one still exists. But Jigglypuff spends a lot of time doing the Kirby-like floating mechanic around it's the basic map, just kind of a platform, and spends a lot of time kind of falling off the edge and grabbing the ledge. But if you grab the ledge, you actually have a half second of invulnerability in Smash Bros.
Oh, really? I didn't know
And he
that.
does this 99 times, which is 50 full seconds of invulnerability. And this is how he played the whole game. Just floating over the top of the Ice Climbers, grabbing the edge. Come back, do it again.
He did the whole...
Do it again.
8
he
minutes.
just completely avoided. And at one point, the Ice Climbers did a suicide to get their second Ice Climber back. And that was the only knockout for that whole round. Was when they purposefully went off the edge, and Jigglypuff just avoided Ice Climbers the whole match. And after the round is over and Jigglypuff won, the player stands up with a huff, and he knows that he just put on the worst show ever. He was completely aware of what he did. He did it solely to win. This got fired up on the social medias, and people were, obviously this is a very, very boring display for the final round, especially when before this, there was a lot of great matches. But this is obviously trolling.
In the best way.
All legal, I believe.
How is that? How can they?
What Nick sent to us, he was, he said this is all fair within the game, so he was kind of on board with it. I'm
Do
kind
we
of
have
curious.
actual video of the
You
match
can look
itself?
it up. Yeah, you can look up the video. Just search Super Smash Brothers Melee Finals at Dreamhack. And you can watch this. You can see the guy's reaction after he wins, his kind of like sigh of, I did that, but I know what I did. Yes, this was not breaking any rules. I'm just wondering, in a competitive atmosphere, like, what do you think about this kind of play? I think if it's in the rules, all's
fair, man. Like, it might not make for great TV, but, you know, I mean, I guess the thing is like, I mean, how many games have you watched of, you know, real sports? It's just like a huge blowout, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not interesting for half the audience.
Right.
So, you're running the clock out at the end.
Yeah, running the clock out at the end. Or, you know, like, I watch a lot of soccer. There's a lot of folks falling down in soccer, you know? Like, and it's part of the game. It's 100% legal, and it's a time-wasting mechanic. And so, like, you know, real sports have this same problem. Like, usually it's not for 8 minutes, but, you know, it's...
I'd be curious to see if that, since that has now obviously been proven to be a thing that people are going to use in competition, if they kind of, you know, next go around they kind of rule that out as something you can't do as illegal, because it's not only is it no fun for anybody to watch or to play, except for obviously the guy who's trolling the living crap out of everybody else, because that's where they get their jollies, but it's just, it kind of defeats the purpose of competition.
Yeah, but I mean, on the flip side, if it's the championship, he had to beat a bunch of other people to get here, and presumably wasn't doing that.
What if he did that the entire time?
Yeah, but I think it only worked because he was playing against a specific character. So, I mean, really, it's you know, I mean, if anything, that actually shows a person who really knows the advantages and disadvantages of our character and was able to create a strategy that, I mean, playing against a person that should have probably won and create a strategy that enabled them to beat a guy who had a clear advantage with this move that, you know, could kill them in one hit. So,
I guess, I mean, the important fact is ice climbers they are kind of they're a pick that is like, it kind of, I mean, really facilitates a counter pick like that.
If you look at it, like it's a troll pick, you know, to pick Ice Climber, and then the guy trolled the troll. So I mean, like, I don't know if this is trolling in this, you know, in the standard way we think of it, but I don't know. I kind of enjoy, like, I mean, boring to watch, but I enjoy the kind of mental games that go behind it.
Mm-hmm. Is that mechanic that he used with Jigglypuff to float over? Is that the only opponent that he could kind of do that to and get away with it, or would he get? Or is that useful across the board?
I'm not going to say.
I can't remember. I used to play it, and Jigglypuff's one of my favorites because I remember being able to win with him.
Yeah. So. I'm not saying he can do that to every character. I'm not saying it's only Ice Climbers, because I'm not sure. But I think this is definitely something that can be accomplished on Ice Climbers that can't on maybe some of the quicker characters, because...
The Jigglypuff's not fast.
No, exactly, and Ice Climbers aren't fast, so that's why it works. And you're able to kind of just float over Ice Climbers over and over. And I guess my only concern is video games are a lot easier to exploit than real life.
Yeah.
So in real life sporting competitions,
you're not going to float over the...
For example, in a game of basketball, when someone's running the clock down, it's a lot easier to do something to interfere with that than it is in some cases of a video game in a digital world. Yeah. There's certain exploits that, I mean, are exploits. And I don't exactly know. And a lot of tournaments do ban certain things like this. This one just doesn't.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, there's that.
I like it. Anyway, that is us for this week.
And we'll have video of Dreamhack and stuff up. Thank you to our friend Nick. Yes, highjump, twitch.tv/highjump, HIJUMP. We'll have more video from him up on our website and on all our channels and all our pages and stuff. And make sure you check him out as well and give him a follow everywhere. And we'll put his links up on all of our Facebook pages and stuff. It's Bite Me, BYTEME podcast.
Yep. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
Yes.
And we're there.
Sweet.